Okay. Okay, there we go. I think now the chat is enabled. That was a bit of a kerfuffle, but now I think we're good. Okay. Alright, I think that's there. Alright. Okay. Let's adjust. Okay. Alright. Character reference sheets. Where are you? There you are. Hello, Moonlight. Sorry about that. I think I had accidentally hit yes, it was made for kids, as opposed to saying no, it's not made for kids, because that makes you choose whether or not you can have chat enabled. But there you go. So it's fine. But it worked out. It worked out. I think. Hopefully. Let me see. Okay. I'm just pulling up my reference images. Where are you guys? There they are. Okay, cool. Alright. Good afternoon. Well, I mean, for me it's afternoon. Good afternoon, Phobica and Milagros. Hello. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Let me know, by the way, if there's any issues with the audio. If you need me to change the volume, increase, decrease, you let me know. I've also changed the setup a little bit, so hopefully it comes off better. You'll let me know. I hope you'll let me know. Let's see. Okay, but might as well get started, shall we? So here we go. Alright. So just to kind of get you guys up to the current level of what's been going on right now, we're doing some designs, trying to base them off of the animated series for Vox Machina and the Mighty Nine. So I've been analyzing and studying the different styles from the two shows and trying to see how we can replicate that with the Campaign 4. So I've been doing some studies. I did a few head basic layouts so that we could try and just use them to start building up the characters. Because each one obviously has different features and accents, like some will have more pointy jaws, others will have more broad square-like features or more heart shapes. So we're going to basically play around with them and tweak them where we need them. But hopefully should all be good when we get it going. Oh, and for some reason my Steam is open. Let me just quickly close that Steam, because that's going to drain. That's going to drain some stuff. There we go. Okay, Steam's closed. I don't have to worry about that. Great, no audio issues. Thank you, Anok de Groot. I think that's how I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you. And great, thank you, Milo. Thank you, Moon. Mask of Many Faces. Great, thank you. Perfect. Alright, so let's see. Well, the first thing we have to do is now pick, obviously, who we're going to do next. I did one for Azune. Just kind of some little fun insights in case you might be curious to know. I wanted to give him a few details that would help accentuate his character a little better from what we've learned from him. So for his eyes, for instance, you can see that I did a downward stroke here. Because a lot of the times you might see upward kind of eyelashing. Sometimes you'll just see like just a quick cut in. But because he's got a lot of turmoil and sorrow that comes with his character during the sessions, I figured that he would have this kind of sorrowful look with him at most of the times. So that little dip down helps to accent that with him when we look into his eyes. Also, by the way, kind of funny little thing, if you actually analyze the animes, you'll see that many of their eyes are this shape. They're kind of like a rhombus, or a parallelogram or something. I can't remember, but that's kind of like their eye default a lot of the times for their characters. So that's going to be the one that we use for their designs. Funny enough, another one that they do is their ears. A lot of their ears do this kind of like connected shape inside, and then they change their outer depending on who and what they are. But it's this kind of fun little, I guess, quirk that they do with their animated series, and so I'm trying to, again, replicate it, get a lot of the fun. But yeah, but this one, for instance, I also wanted to, as you are mentioning, yeah, the birthmark, I wanted to see if we could maybe hint at a dragon silhouette a little bit, give that kind of hint to what he is, sort of thing. And I figured that another great way, because of how Brennan described the dragon, I thought, wouldn't that be kind of cool if we gave him essentially like a really long, like, continuation that like coils around the bottom, essentially, so he can have like a bit more like twisting and fun like play on his body whenever, if ever, it gets shown. And then yeah, it's like the other things, just trying to simplify, because in animation you really gotta really make something simple in order for it to be repeated and done a lot. So the braid, for instance, gets simplified into this shape, and you just do this to try and give the idea of there's a braiding. So lots of little fun ways to try and make something simple and get it to be easily replicated. But yeah. The braid, I don't know how long it would be, because that was the question, because I kind of twisted it on his side here, so it's like it's coming around. Because, I mean, it lengthens to here in that one when you see it kind of flow out, but then like this one, it's kind of like that long. Because in his reference sheet, you never actually see how long it is in the reference sheet. It's so weird. It's just like a little guesswork at that point. Oh, hey, Nerd Shore, Sean. Nice to see you. Welcome. Good to see you here. nice to kind of swap it around. It's really cool. Thank you. Thank you, Moon. That's very nice of you to say. And yes, exactly like the Chinese dragons, because when in the cooldown Brennan described him, he started to, uh, I guess, draw a lot of parallels to Haku from Spirited Away and the Luck Draken from the Neverending Story, Falcor, when they talked about his pearlescent look and the kind of body shape from it, and River Dragon and everything, which does, again, kind of have a nice parallel to that kind of culture, too. But since we got that for Izune, we're going to now take some of these similar elements, and we're going to start building up some of the other characters. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got 12 more to... 12. That's a perfect number. You know what we can do with that? Because I was debating who to do next, and I think this would be actually a lot of fun to do this. Why don't we just roll Critical Role's favorite dice for Daggerheart? Let's do us a d12 roll. I think that'd be great to do that. Oh, just for little funsies, by the way. The die I'm going to be using is it's a jewel die. It's actually from Dice Nest. They sent me a packet for me to use and to showcase, and for anyone if they wanted to look for it, you can try it out. It's a really cool looking die. I like it. It's like extremely pretty. It's like a beautiful like blue with gold lettering. Or numbering. But yeah, and it's got for its 12, they did a little, if I can get it, there, how do I twist this thing? It's the direct, God, it's figuring out the right way to make this thing work. Okay, dragon, there we go. Got a little dragon there. Which again, kind of fitting for Izumi, right? Okay, so let's assign some numbers so we can at least get this right. Oh, I can do it with the alphabet. Funny enough, my file saves are based on alphabetical because I did it to the cast, so it's like Abria, Alexander, Ashley, Laura, Liam, Luis, Marisha, Matt. So works perfectly that way. So that means that we can do 1 is Abria, 2 is Alex, 3 is Ashley, 4 is Laura, 5 is Liam, 6 Marisha, 7 Matt, 8 Robbie, 9 Sam, 10 Taliesin, 11 Travis, and 12 is Whitney. All right, I think that's pretty easy to do it. Let's bring you guys down here so you can actually see the die roll. All right. Okay. Let's see what we get. I see a 10. All right, 10. So we'll get this back up here. Hopefully it's not too horribly ruined. All right, 10 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Taliesin. Ooh, we're doing Belair. Ooh, Belair is interesting. He has some crazy features for his face. That mask. Gotta really try to make sure to give that good detail for it. Caduceus. Do a Widow Caduceus. A Widow Caduceus. Oh, I can't wait till we finally see Caduceus. That'll be so cool to actually see him in the new Mighty Nine. Oh, that's gonna be great. I'm gonna love that when that happens. Oh, I'm gonna be sad about Molly Muck though, but I'm gonna be really happy about Caduceus too. Great character. Help! It's again. All right, so let's see. I mean, maybe can do a little Caduceus. At the same time, though, we're going to be seeing him too, which is going to be really great when they actually premiere him. But for now, let's see. What's a good first starting face to give Belair, and what should we do Belair with? You know, I'm kind of feeling this face here, this angle for Belair. What do you guys think? How do you think? Should we try this one for Belair? I kind of like that kind of angle where it gives him that little, like, coy look of turning so we can get the eye twisting to one direction and get a bit more of that, like, dramatic angle. Oh, his hair. Man, that's going to be another challenge, kind of figure out how to do that hair. Get a 13 somehow and you draw Brennan. Yeah, that's it. So, cocked. If the dice is cocked, it goes to Brennan. Yeah, Caduceus is great. Molly's great. I cannot wait. I need my for a while. That's like the first time I think anyone's ever said I can't wait for a character to die. Yeah, a version of a layer. I mean, I'm gonna obviously just go with. I assume when they're doing it, it'd be kind of like it's going to be a generic samesies each time, but kind of just imagine his height changing bit by bit with each new person he has. Yeah, Merida from the Brave. Yeah, I know exactly. It's like how to get that really good curvy lock feel, but to also make it different from a Bria, because when Taisha comes in, she also has very large, like framed hair, but hers is a little bit more condensed in the curl and a bit more like kind of volumed. So we got to try to make sure that we distinctively like separate the two. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge to tackle, but it's going to be fun. We're going to try it out. But okay, so we got this one. We'll go with Belair here. All right, so all right. Okay, let me just go ahead and give like a second to Zune. I was just doodling around Zune a bit to see how I could make some fun expressions, but we got to at least, I think, tackle the whole cast first. All right. Okay, with there, and then my little Belair reference coming up. There you are. All right. Okay. All right, so first things first, Belair, from what I can see in his reference, he does have a very strong pointed nose and a very pronounced chin. So I think we're going to have to make sure to keep that emphasis on him. So first things first, let's go ahead and start placing out some confirmed details. I swear I like Circus Man. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I think yes, gotta love the spoopy, right? We gotta love the Belair spoopy. All right, so let's see. So if we have he has a downward pointing nose. So we can't go too rounded. So let's see if we angle him. If we give his mass a bit more of like an angled featuring, we can probably give a lot more fun with like the rest of his body or the rest of his face to give that shape. He does seem to have a tiny like triangling here on the nose, and I think because he is a mask, we kind of get to play with that idea that he's different. So let's see, what if we accented that a bit? Because then if we did that, we can probably still keep the pointing. So his nose will essentially have like the generic shape that we'll use, like if we were to redraw him the whole time, would be like using this shape. So whenever we turn it around, we can use that as like a fairly easy guide. That's the whole thing. When it comes to a lot of the times when you see an animator talking to you, they'll give you these like, it looks like a C or a Z or an L that's been flipped sort of thing. So they really try to make it something that you can just like instant repeat and like easily translate it whenever you need to. Kind of really emotional support for Lokia. Hello, RM Fox. Do you think that Belair has a designed facial emotion the way that those styles of masks are built in real life? He can move magically, but I wonder if he was built as a happy mask or something. It's a curious thing, right? I mean, I don't know if he was built to be happy. I do want to know their kind of meaning, because there's so many of them. And obviously we have comedy and tragedy as the classic 2 mask, but I really want to know more. The one thing about Campaign 4, they keep the mystery and you're enticed in it, like, so good. I mean, invested with all the theories of what the heck each thing is. So let's see. You might want to then keep that level of angling for the bottom of his nose like that. Now the question would be, would I want to keep it like this, or was this more interesting? I kind of like that downward. Okay. Alright, now let's see. So we've got now his brow. Ooh, his brow is very, like, conformed. It seems that it's just, like, because he doesn't really have any eyebrows. He has this, like, sharp cut from what I can see on his description. And it looks like then his mask forms a solid line with that. So that means he's got this kind of chiseled, simplistic accent, and I think we'll kind of keep that there. Caduceus was such a great impact. I absolutely agree, Mask of Many Faces. Absolutely. Oh yeah, it's great to rewatch those openings. Those are so good. And the songs with it, oh, so brilliant. Okay, well we also know that he's got to have circles for his eyes. So if he's going to have circles here, and there. Now he does have a gray kind of flaring that goes around the side, around the circle, so I think that we'd want to keep that as like an accent there. And it comes in. Oh, okay. That's a good way to kind of distinguish the two eyes, because if you ever see animation, like especially in, for instance, Disney's The Lion King, you will see eyes that have this definitive line that goes around like this. It helps to give the viewer something to see for our cheekbones. So it's a great way for the eye corner to line up and to give you a visual separation of the two. You see it a lot in animals as well, like bears and other things, where they'll make like kind of like this eye-covered socket. So if we can do that with Bolaire, we can play around the notion of using that as a way to kind of visually guide us with that distinction. Because I liked to use that for Azune, because when I did the dragon, I thought, what a great way to help frame his face a bit by giving this kind of curving, which allows us to see his cheekbones a little bit better with it. So with Bolaire, we can do this to see a bit more of his eye, because his eyes are a contrasted circle. They don't have that like natural rhombus shape that we were, or parallelogram shape that we were talking about earlier. So because he defies that, we probably need to then pull it with other shapes around him to still get the feel, and so we can still kind of sync with the other characters. And now he does have very high cheekbones. That's for sure. Bolaire got them bones, the bone structure. So if he's got a good bone structure, we want to make sure that stays. So he's got like a very strong presence with that. Now we can use the line under his eye as a way to help accent that too. Because if we take that and bring it down, ooh, we can also use that to help us distinct the chin a little bit too. So if we bring this here, we can then give his chin that little extra that comes from that line. I think that could look pretty good. And then obviously with the other side, we wouldn't be able to see it as much due to the angle that he's at, but it would be a little like that. And then classic, he's got a very noticeable angled jaw. Interesting though too, is because his mask obviously won't be able to go all the way to the ear, so his mask kind of almost becomes like an incomplete jaw. Because if you imagine like a mask being put on you, it won't obviously cover your ears really. So I then imagine that he would probably still have a bit of the under jaw of whoever is wearing the mask would still possibly be there. Might be hidden when we actually put the hair on there, but at least for now we can kind of separate it and make sure we know what's there. Also, by the way, hello to everybody who coming in. T.O., Local, Cold Blood, hello. Started campaign was going to be watched all before the rest. Yep, they're great. Oh, it's a good one to start with. Alright, so let's see. Now his mask does come, it looks like it comes in like this on the reference sheet, but we probably want to just make it very simple here. Just a very easy shape for us to be able to copy. Okay. Let's see, how can we accent this cheek line without going too crazy? Do you think we should just do it like this? Just a little backwards? could maybe work with that. That could be a good way to kind of keep it easy and simple, because again, this is where you have like animation tricks where they'll try to do simple shapes, so it's like a 3. For Izune, for instance, one of the simple ones is like make a crown here for his hair parts, a set of 3. So 3s are great ways to kind of give you a sense of like top, middle, bottom, or like, you know, side kind of like symmetry. So we can really play with that here by giving it a little bit of accent, but not actually going much further than that, and let the eyes carry the rest of the way. Like you, as the viewer, will just basically imagine the line yourself, and you'll fill it in. Okay, now the lips. He's got some luscious lips, doesn't he? Belair is just like very puckered. So we want to make sure to keep them in there, but we can't go too crazy. So let's see. So he's definitely got his distinctive top lip. Now the bottom lip, initially we have something that's like that, which is, you know, like as if they mirrored the top and the bottom. But then let's see, what would look like if we did it just solid? I do like a solid line because it does allow for us to be a bit more expressive, because if you wanted him to make a kissy mouth, or if you wanted him to like express with O sounds, being able to then change from a static line can be a little bit more easy to see that change. So we might want him to be a little bit squared there. We can still make it bigger than most other ones, because he definitely still has what you would call like very pronounced lips. Alright. So let's see. The eyes probably want to be a teeny bit bigger, maybe? Maybe just a little bit. Just merchants. Okay, maybe a teeny bit bigger. Alright, give ourselves a little bit of that Bolair side glance going on. This Candelabra's character. I mean, if I somehow like speed by these things like fast, sure. Or we can always do it again too. I mean, I have no objection to continuing the live stream on another time and like sharing it with you guys as well. I think that's a lot of fun to be able to interact with everybody. Thank you, Maddie. I'm glad you like the kind of breakdown that I go with when I babble. Bombastic. Great word. I like that word. Very good word. The gross. Love it. Okay. Gotta tackle the hair. That hair. Oh, it's so important. Okay. Alright. So first things first, I can see that he has a part. It looks like it's in the middle. So I would say that if we kind of made sure to keep that as his divide, we can build from there. He definitely seems to keep his frame a bit symmetrical with his hair, so it's kind of like the same on one side to the other. I don't really see any, like, you know, extra bang on one end or any kind of separation, really. So we'll probably try to keep that the same for both sides. He does have a good curve in the front, so that means we're going to have to make sure to keep this kind of, like, accented opening in a way. So if we kind of keep that there. Let's see. So, since he's got curls that are a bit more wavy, whereas Abria's a very, like, poofed kind of hair, this is a bit more, like, ribboned, I suppose would be the word. So what if we, like, just threw some ribbons around, see what we can get with his hair. So this is where you just start to, like, doodle some lines, see what actually kind of starts to work. Ooh, like I'm kind of liking that little bit of a that little extra kind of like carried line here, because it does give him a bit more of a kind of like a in a way that that kind of French wig going on sort of thing, you know, those like classic powdered wigs that were very big and grand kind of thing. So giving it a bit more of that like boof to it probably would be fun. So if we carry that ribbon down to at least be there. Let's see. So if we can play around with those styles, we can still keep a bit more of the angling with him. Because he does have some waves, so if we can actually give him a little bit of like waveage in a few pieces of his hair, I think we can then give that implication to the rest of his volume without having to necessarily draw it, because it's like you would infer that there's going to be more of it if there's at least one piece that's got that. So if we made the front have some of that distinction, we can then leave the back to be a little more implied. You know, actually, what might be a good thing for me to look up real quick, because another person who has a hair that's, I think, a little similar and probably might have some good insights, is from, if you are familiar with the Netflix series of Castlevania, Alucard has some really good hair design. I think I might give him a little quick look, see what his designers did for him. Let's see. Alucard, there you are. Okay, alright. So with him, it looks like what they did, so we can all see it together. So they definitely did that whole keeping a nice distinctive kind of upraise right near the head. So we definitely have that, which would be basically that's this region right here. So we have this kind of upward volume. Ooh, look at all that. God, trying to get that in would be crazy. But I mean, it does work. But you can also see, again, the idea of implying the ribbons, because you can get that notion of like right here. See how the hair has this kind of cut bend, and you can see they used a shadow right there to kind of accent it. They also, right here especially too, you can see it really clearly there and here. So I think we're on the right track with trying to give it like a ribbon look. We'll probably make his a little bit more, again, we're not going to make it like too sharp, but it's kind of a good way to get the shape in there first. And we can then play around with it. Okay. But it does look like Alucard has a good set in front. It's not just one. So we might want to then give Bolaire maybe an additional one. So we'll give him like a couple to play with. And we can also break up some of these shapes by putting like small little gaps in them. So you can see, like, if you look at the this shape here, for instance, it is one solid like design when they came with it, but then they would just put these little cuts in there. So you can just get away with the idea of erasing space. So we can start to take that and like play around with like erasing some space here while still keeping the shape. So we kind of like say this is the outline shape and it has a little triangle and the triangle is the cutaway, essentially. We can, let's see if we do it here as well. Okay, and then yeah, so and then we know that we've got some distinctive hair flow there. And just making sure I get bow layers. Yeah, all right, so he does have a very defined neck, but he has his red before he has the black cloak come across it. So let's just get that in there real fast. And checking on the references. Okay, cool, cool. All right. There we go. Got a little bit of him starting to make some shape there. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's start to refine this a bit more. I think we can really make the hair a bit better. So let's see. So we definitely like the idea of the hair coming up and around. So if we maybe made it a little more high-perched, like that, we can give him a bit more of like that, almost kind of like that presentation ruffle, those ribbons that kind of like push up. So we can give that like extra wave with it as it goes higher. And then let's see, we can make that nice big open spot here for the curve. And then we can play with the hole in there. So we can turn like a big shape into little shapes without actually having to worry too much about making it wrong. And then let's see here. I want to add that second curve down. Actually, there's a little more down here, it seems. Get that nice ribbon twist in the hair. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Bolaire could do a L'Oreal shampoo ad, yeah. I don't know why. I'm just thinking of the episode, I think it was 31, where it was Figment with Little Mask Bolaire. It's like, my wig is great. I am Bolaire. I am Bolaire. I like that little random thing. Alright, we got the back one doing a twist there. And then we'll have just some extra hairs coming in from that region. Okay. I might want to move the hair forward a little bit just because we like the idea of maybe covering the ear a bit more. So let's just go ahead and like pull it a little closer. Ooh! Ooh, I like how that line is coming in front of the other one. Oh, I like that. Yeah, there we go. That's a nice kind of like distinction with him right there. I think that'd be really good to have. It's almost like he's got this kind of front part of his hair. Ooh, and I think what we can do is that we can actually start dividing it a bit so we have a front and a back. So we can then use that region back here to give extra volume, but have it almost give that separate kind of animation thing. So it's like there's the two bang locks in the front, and then the rest of the volume comes from the back part. So when people are going to be, you know, figuring that out, they'd be able to easily separate the two that way. And then I think at the end of his hair, we can definitely have bits that still come out and give us that, like, ribbon continuation going on. Okay. I think we're going to make that one closer. There we go. Okay. I'm starting to like this a lot. Okay, let's see if we reduce that a bit. Alright, maybe we'll want to pull this bang out a little bit more to the right, just to give it a little bit more volume. It's a little shy. There, I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think so far? Added a little bit more volume to the side, giving it also a teeny bit more of like that extra tea. How are we feeling for this? Is it looking good? Oh, thanks, Milagros. Thank you. Oh, she can keep littering the channel a bit. So yeah, the silly voice, I know, right? I am Bolaire. Just so great. I am Figment. Definitely the real Bolaire. I'm so sad neither Bolaire nor Wick was there to see the play. Oh, me too. I especially would have loved to see Bolaire's opinions on everything. Yeah, I mean Bolaire is such a theater like lover. You just got to imagine that he would have been all over that. Awesome. Okay, let's now do the next stage, which is cleaning this up, because when it comes to animation, the lines are thin. Very, very thin. So we're going to have to go ahead and clean that away. Alright, so let's go ahead and reduce that opacity, and I'll be doing it at this is a three pixel brush, so it is like a titty little line. Let's see though. I might actually just real quick. I might pull this down. I don't think we want his forehead to be just that big, just a little bit less. So maybe if we just a little bit like there, I think. Okay, all right. Let's give this a shot. Let's see where we go. Ooh, circles, circles, circles. Always, like, the biggest pain. Okay, that's not too bad. And I think his eye is a little bit three-dimensional in terms of for the mask, so having it pop out a little bit on the side, I think works, just to give us that sense that it does have more volume than what we realized. Alright, and then of course we have a little bit of it there too. And we want that 3. And we want it to be kind of paralleled with the other side. There we go. And this line, I think we'll make that his accent. Because if you notice, by the way, in animes, you'll find that the eyes will have a bit more volume to the line. You'll see it usually in the top eyelash, especially like here in Azune. So since Bolaire doesn't have that, he does have solid black in his centers, which will give a good accent. But I think to kind of give him that little like focus, the draw in, if we actually take that line here that divides his mask and make that one distinctively bold. Because if we do that, it can act as a way to guide us not only to his visual, but it will also kind of give that separation that's part of his mask design to really make sure we can remember that he does have this like division. And then the hair comes in there, and so we want to give that nice jaw. Okay, actually, we want to make sure that the mouth we have is... Get that little smirk of his. Make it a little better. Okay. I think if we maybe add that a little line here, it'll help us to distinguish his face a bit more. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Though I think this one's also a little bit too far out, so I'm going to just quickly crop that in here. And then do that there. Okay, cool. Alright, alright. Now let's top off his mask real quick. And let's get some hair drawn in there. Oh, make sure, save it. Gotta save it. Haven't touched the save button in a while. Bad me. Let's just read the chat real quick. Marcus says, Bolaire is such an interesting character. There's so much nuance to unwrap with him, and a lot of the PCs too. Very true, very true. Bolaire's mind theater moment with his sister shattered me and startled me. Talison's great. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the whole, when he played it out and then went wrong. Oh, yeah. He actually can break down. He actually literally breaks down. Because you don't see him do that. He keeps his composure so much in the world, but he had a full meltdown there, didn't he? See. There we go. For some reason, the chat disconnected from me, so I had to quickly get that back. Alright, now let's get that hair, shall we? Oh, thank you. I'm glad the nose shape worked out for him. He was definitely one of those where it's like, he's not gonna have a normal one, but we can't make it too crazy. Gotta be somewhat on the believable scale. Alright, this one. Okay, we're slowly getting there. Alrighty. Just a little bit more hair left to go. Alright. And he has his collar. And make that one a bit pronounced here. Connect the two for the cape. And he has two little circles on either side. The two little circles might be too much for the animated detail, but that one in the middle, that one circle in the middle would probably be fine to keep for the button. Probably want to distinguish it too. Okay, because I think he has a... Yeah, that's where his thing is. Alright. And then that one little back part here. Don't want to forget that. Okay. Alright, I think we have some lines that are pretty good. We can work with these. Oh, you add a little bit more. One more here to distinct the shoulder. There we go. All right. Now let's see how well this works with the coloring. That's the biggest trick now, is to see if we can actually get it to look good with color in. All right. So I'm going to just do a general fill right now. This will help me maintain my boundaries of the lines once I've got them all selected. So what I do is then I will inverse it and lay out just a flat color just to start with, so I can have a good base. And basically what happens, anytime I want to fill something in, I can just control click it and I'll basically have everything ready to go. So it works out great for me that way. Let me see now. So, oh yeah, coloring as well, absolutely. Gotta make sure to try and get the colors right. Now let's see, Belair, he has a much more vibrant red to him, but we don't want to go too crazy because they all have to still be somewhat in the same ballpark, kind of like everyone has the same kind of color wash. But let's see, I think the red is the most important thing to first nail down. So let's test out a bit of that red in here. See how it can work without it going too bad. Okay, so he's got an orangey red going on. So let's see. So that might be a little too vibrant, so I might change the saturation down, maybe touch more red. Maybe darken it a little, let's see. Alright, let's start with that. And there's going to be a lot of adjustment, because when the colors come in, most of the time the flats are where you start, but you find that you add overlays and washes towards the entire color. So like once you've gotten like the red, the black, the green, the white, all that in there, you will put this kind of tone that goes over the entire image. And a wash typically would be how you would describe it, I think. But when you do that, you harmonize all the colors together because they have an underlying like shared tone, and it gives it a bit more uniformity when you want to be able to have the character look like they are all one piece, essentially. It kind of just pulls it together. But it also is a way to kind of make sure every other character that we draw has a similar tone to it, a similar wash. So they all have either the same kind of desaturation, the same kind of like muted tone, or this brightening of an overlay. It's things like that. So let's see. Animators do love characters with neckwear and eye collars. It happens. Alright, now I think actually we can use this gray just to quickly turn it into a darker color, because he's got a dark black for his cloak. So we can do that. Now the red for his outfit is a little different, but let's go. Let me quickly throw in a white here so we can get his mask. Okay, and now it's not going to be a full white, so we'll just quickly do like this, and then I'll change the saturations. Give me a little something to play with. His lips aren't that dark. There's definitely a kind of slight increase in tone, so let's try there for now. Okay. Alright. And we definitely know the sockets are much darker, because they are almost void-like. And I will say, because his eyes are a very different color from the rest of him. He's warm-toned everywhere, but his eyes are a piercing cold blue. There is this, like, immediate draw to his eyes because of that color change compared to the rest of him. And he also has, I think, the same gray, not as dark, but a similar gray to what's under his eyes. So let's go ahead and pop it in there, and then we'll change the hue a bit. Alright, now we're starting to get some things in here. And now obviously his skin's a very pale, almost near like dead kind of thing, because obviously we all know why. So we're definitely going to have a very light tone, probably even less saturation there. Yeah, I think probably give him a bit more of a, like a muted wash for his skin, like it's been really drained of a lot of color. And then the red for his other part, let's see. I think we want to give, again, a bit more distinction, so like instead of it being orangey red like that one, we want it to be more of a rich dark red. So let's see, maybe a little less saturated, maybe like that. Let's go with there. Alright, let's pull that in. Alright, and then obviously he has a silver button, so let's give this a little silver, a little lighter silver tone. Okay, alright, now let's see. Looking and matching him to Zune. Okay. I think we should play around with the hair and being a little, possibly a little darker and a little more saturated, but let's see. So let's just use our bars here. Let's drag down the brightness a bit, make it a little richer. Let's see. And then if we then could do something a little like that. Okay. Now the lips, let's see. Let's see what happens if we made them lighter versus darker. I think we want to make sure they're darker, that's for sure. It kind of gives a good difference between the eyes and him. But we probably... Because a lot of the times it's great if you can connect colors, so if the cloak is the same as his mouth, the harmony of carrying the two colors across the form helps to give that, like, the connection. So we can probably use the same black. Alright, let's try testing some shading. Let's see how it will look if we applied the cell shade. Because sometimes when you apply that on there, you'll get a little bit of like a, oh, not popping as much as I want it, or maybe we can make this a bit better, or something like that. So let's go ahead and give his... this quick little cell shade. And because he's got those big lips, we're going to definitely make the top lip a little darker, because it's got that shading under it. This is definitely recessed with the rest of his region because of the hair and everything, so we're going to have a bit of a shadow going on down here. And the hair also will have a little bit more of that shading too. So let's just make sure I've got the... This is where it's helpful to have, colors, and you can just go right in there, not have to worry. So I won't bleed into anyone else at that point. probably does have a bit of that shadow for his hair coming down as it's blocking some of the light. Distinguish that little dip in for the back of his hair. And because his hair has volume, we'll definitely add a teeny bit of shadow underneath it to kind of imply that there is a bit more depth with what's behind him. All right. Thank you, Milagros. Just now checking up on the chat. Let's see. Should the neck be the skin tone of whoever's... I do wonder what they might do if you have the animators doing that and kind of remembering it's like which skin tone is which when they change it out every time. So, maybe. That'd be a very curious thing to do. I mean, he's already changed twice, I think, right? First time in the little den when it was an accidental one, and the second time when he was down in the sewers with Demodus, Murray, Hal, and Azune when they were battling the rogues, the Thieves Guild that was down there. But yeah. So he's done it twice. At least twice. Oh, no, thrice, duh! I think he technically did the Demon Brother. So yeah, he's been all over the place. The Full Dragon too. The Full Dragon. I mean, I already did draw the Full Dragon. I don't think there's a... Well, none of the characters are that, at least. I don't think they are. That'd be an interesting twist if one of them happened to be one. I'm assuming he'd be a Zunic, but, you know, that's just me guessing. Ah, yes, the red hair, as they said, it's a wig. Right. Let me see. I think the white on the mask doesn't need to be so red tinted. Let's maybe get rid of the saturation, increase its illumination, and let us give a wash of everything. Because the wash I used for Azune, that's the wash I used for him to kind of uniform, to give the color. So let's see what would happen if I did the same wash to Belair. Ooh, darkens him quite a bit. Probably don't want it to go that dark. So if we brighten it up instead... Alright, it's not too bad. Gives a little bit of change. But let's see, I think let's play around with the hair a little bit. I think we'll keep him more red than orange, because I think he has a nice kind of set tone, I think, with that. When it goes a little too orange, it kind of pulls away from the framing a little bit. As you guys can kind of somewhat see as we swap between the two. See? I think the red's a little bit more his style than going to the orange. You know what I can do? I'm going to go ahead and just quickly grab that, put it on, and then I'll do a quick fade around. There might be a nice in between. Okay. If we did it there. Okay, that might not be too bad if we mix the two and give a kind of blend between them. So it goes from that to that. That's not too terrible. I think, let's see, maybe we can get the eyes to pop a little more. Yeah. Yeah, I think the eyes look better when they're a teeny bit more bright. So bright eyes would be nice. Okay. So, Belair. I think we've got a good start on what Belair could start to look like. Just go ahead and curve that around a bit more for his shadow. Let's see, should we actually add this under his cheekbone? Alright, just going to quickly check with and without. Oops, went too far in a race. Let me just quickly just... Okay, alright, so let's see, before and afters. Before and afters. What do you guys think? Do you think there should or shouldn't be a shadow line under the chin, under the brow, cheekbone? Do you think there should be a cheekbone shadow or no cheekbone shadow? As I flip back and forth between the two. I see one for shadow, one for without shadow, one on either side. Without. Without. With. Alright, we're getting 2 to 4. Kind of like both being. So, another shadow. Okay, alright. I'm seeing more to the shadows than less to the shadows, so we'll go ahead and leave it there for now. Another no shadow. Okay, I still think we're getting a little more in the shadow, so we'll keep it to shadow. But obviously very easy to change. Not that hard at all. But great! Oh, cool! Look at us. We got Belair! Belair's a fun one, isn't he? Ugh, Taliesin, he knows how to give us like some great characters. And I get just like jaw dropped when he does Percy in Vox Machina. Just his emotion that he conveys as Percy to me is just like mind-blowing. What he's got to be like in the sound booth to make those amazing like lines, those belting calls. They're so good. All right, though, guys. I think we gotta roll the dice again. I gotta get the next character up and running. But we gotta figure out who. So Bolaire was 10, so we'll re-roll if Bolaire comes up again. But I'm going to go ahead and use that trusty, handy-dandy little dice nest jeweled D12. One of the least used die, sadly, but Daggerheart made good use of this thing. So we're going to go ahead and see who we got. Now remember, just to kind of update you guys, it is based on alphabetical order that I've got on my reference sheet. So it goes Abria, Alex, Ashley, Laura, Liam, Louise, Marisha, Matt, and so on. But since we've already got Louise and Taliesin, we will be skipping over them. But 1 Abria, 2 Alex, 3 Ashley, etc., etc. Let me bring you down so you can see what we're going to get. Oh, all right. Okay, guys. Let's see what we roll. That is a 9. That is a 9. The one right before. Oh, guys. Alphabetically, it's the name right before Taliesin. What comes before a T? I know we know it's our favorite little comedian, the bard of all bards, the bravest of them all, Sam. We have Sam for Wickander. We're doing Wiki. Yeah, Sam. Okay, Wickander. Ooh. I can tell you this, he's definitely got some details in him that are going to need to be simplified a little bit because there's a lot of line work going on there. So we're going to have to probably just give him a more basic collar for that metal kind of brace he's got there. Yeah, Wiki. We're going to get Wiki. Alrighty then. There is my preset, so I can... Okay, Brill. Okay. You know what? Just for funs, I think you guys should help me decide which facial kind of direction we should give Wick. Now, obviously, if it's an angle that doesn't show his tattoos, I'll mirror it. So, like, if it was, for instance, if you picked this one here, I would mirror flip it, which I think that's Bolaire's one actually. So either way, I'd flip it around so we can see the tattoos because we want to make sure to get those in there. But let me just quickly throw these out. 1, 2. Not going to be like a terrible vote. We're just going to see how well we can get the if there's any consensus. All right, 1 through 10. If you guys think any of those are the best ones for Wick, call them out. Throw out the number in the chat real quick. I'll see if we can get like a favorite, if there is, and we'll go with that one. Which one exemplifies Wickander? Let's go ahead and tweak this camera a little bit. 1, 2. This may hang out. All right, there we go. 6 and 8, okay. Make him look baby. 3, 5. Wow, we're going all over. Oh, 2 5s, 2 6s, 2 5s, 2 6s, 3 5s, 3 6s. Wow, just keeping that tied up. All right, so far just from the quick one, I do see at least... Oh, okay, that's 4 5s. That's just kind of confusing to say all at once. Yeah. Okay. I think, just off the quick one, 5 looks like it's a bit more in the lead compared to the rest, so let's play with 5. Alrighty then. We are definitely going to make this a little bit more of a baby face for sure. So we're going to probably thin it out and whatnot. So we're going to give ourselves a bit of a chiseling in on the details. This is for Wickander. Sam's character, Wick. Alright, so let's see. From the reference, I can see he does have a very straight nose. So he's... Oop, I'm gonna change that real quick. Alright, okay. So I think we're gonna have a bit more of a straight line for him when it comes to his feature there. Now his eyebrows are very curvy and sorrowful. They look like they have a bit more of like a constant like worried expression. So, because with his we give him a bit more of a thick brow at the top with a thin at the bottom. So I think for him we'll do a similar thing, but we'll... I think we'll make Wick's eyebrow a little bit more of a 3 divide. And then let's see, so we definitely, again, we're going to cut his face in a little bit. We don't want it to be too thick, so we're going to bring him in. He does have like a bit of a point, so we're going to probably cut him down like that inside for his face. And similarly on his other side, yes, we're going to give him a bit more of a narrow jaw. Alright. And he's got the big baby eyes, so he's gonna make sure we get some good... Ooh, I think I like that. Let's make a top and a bend down for him this way, as opposed to going full parallel kind of thing. Let's go ahead and drop him early so that he can have a bit more of the sorrowful eye look to him. The kind of lost and uncertainty that he has with him. Faith is shaken, the world is shaken. Let's see, do we like him looking up? Do we like him looking right? Nah. He's definitely an... I think he's a kind of forward looker for us. And by the way, this is an interesting thing. When you analyze the style from Titmouse for the Mighty Nein and Vox Machina, you can see that there is a lot more narrowing when it comes to the eyeball and the iris, the pupil and whatnot, so it's a bit more of a thin oval. So we're going to keep that thin oval look for him. And let's see. I think his mouth is going to stay a little bit small. We're not going to do any lippage for him. I think we'll just do like an underlip maybe, but we won't do a top lip because he has a bit of that filament going on there. And probably to make it easier, we'll connect the filament to it all the way to it. So he'll have a full line that goes right there. He does have a goatee, so I think we'll just make a nice simple T there for his hair. So that should give him the details we need for him. I do think because he's had this kind of like, he's been tired, he's been strained, we might want to just put a little bit of like a line below his eyes at all times, because he's always having to like squint and guess and try to figure out the world around him, so giving him that like focus on his eyes there might be really good for him. And now, of course, taking into account what we see before with the similar pattern that it comes to their design, their ears are very much a almost kind of like a weird 3, and where this one comes up, there's a line right there, and then the rest becomes an outline for the ear. I think we want him to be a little bit bigger on the lower part of the ear for him, so we might push it out a bit. change that one to being a bit more on the outside. So we'll give Wick a little bit more of the... All right, and let's see. He's gonna be youthful and thin, so I don't think we want to have too thick of a neck. So we're gonna go ahead and cut that in. Okay. And then, of course, we know he has that very noticeable, I don't know what it's called. I'd say collar, but it's not necessarily a collar. But it's definitely that, like, plating, that mantle that goes around him. Which, again, we're going to have to simplify because in animation you can't do all those little lines. That would drive them mad. Simply mad. So we can't do that. I think we probably would want it to go further than just... If they actually... No, his head still's technically got to come out of it, so we can't go too crazy high up. But if we go, like, to there... Alright. And then... Now we've got to do the hair. Oh, thank you. Welcome, Cheese Toast of Death. And thank you. Oh, yeah, it does kind of look a little bit like Aang, yeah. I mean, especially because the bald head. The bald head definitely helps it. All we just need is our airbender arrow. There he is! But let's see. Yes, we're doing the animated designs, like as if what could they possibly look like in an animated series? Because you have to simplify things and make it a bit more like easily repeated when you're going to make a lot of character movements, so they're kind of given a bit more simplistic look, a bit more angles, and you kind of like get the colors all to be one and the same, because everyone has a very different bright kind of palette, and you need them to all kind of fit in whatever the world's tone is going to eventually be. So it's kind of like playing around with that. But let's see. Okay, Wick definitely has the wavy curls going on, and it looks like it's distincted into... I'd say he's got two main ones. He's got one big flick and a little side flick. So he's gonna have definitely one main like hair that comes up and around. It looks like it waves around a bit. Probably not that high up, but it's kind of there. And his other one's a smaller one that goes on the other side. Let's see. He does have some curving going on for his bangs, so we can probably play around with a curve here. So that's going to be in shadow, that's going to be in shadow. And he does have a bit of flick going on in the back. So I think he should have that kind of extra bit of hair coming out. He does have his two earrings, so we'll definitely have them be there. I think his forehead's a little bit big, so I'll just maybe pull this down a little bit. There we go. I think that's a bit more like him. I might want to pull his eyes in just a little. And of course he has his diadem, his little circlet that goes on his head. Which I think, again, to keep it easy for designs, you would definitely have a bit more of a simple version. So we're going to have like maybe the gem in the middle with a ring around it. But instead of having, I think it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think it's 6. So we'll go ahead and maybe do a simpler version, maybe 3. Maybe 3 or 5. Yep. Let's see. Do we think he needs 5? Maybe he might need 5. Let's just look between. We'll come back to that. He might go to 5 or 3. We'll see what happens.
Drawing more candid.
Oh, yes, the red kobold is Scritch. And funny enough, by the way, mentioning Scritch, the voice of Scritch just stepped in the room. You want to say hi, Scritch?
Hello!
There he is. I'm sure for those of you who have been here for a while and have been following the channel and other social medias and whatnot, that, of course, is my best friend and also my co-creator for the channel. He has been working with this since the beginning. Like, he's been storyboarding, drawing, coloring, and voicing the amazing Scritch, as you just heard.
And other things.
And other things. But yeah, he's been there with me since the start and helps a lot in so many ways. And it still makes me smile every time I hear Scritch, all the time. Yes, Scritch, yeah. Yeah, he was the one who came up with the coffee and the
Coffee.
Yeah, the coffee. I liked that. His first introduction, so well received. I was so happy that people were so much like yay for Scritch.
I mean, I'm happy that people like the voice instead of going, ew, cringe, please stop.
Can we get Scritch's origin? I'm not sure what his origin is.
Well, it's very much like Batman's. It's very dark and disturbing.
Very contrasty to the cheerful kobold that he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine a lot of his backstory is going to have accidents in it. I feel like he's very accident-prone.
Well, actually, the only reason why he's out of the Warren is because he has a terrible sense of direction.
Oh.
So he went exploring the surface world for the first time, got distracted by probably something really colourful, and then got turned around, and now he's just like roaming the world. Just somehow appearing in random metro events.
I mean, I do always appreciate that version of, like, person lost can't ever find no direction whatsoever.
He's the kobold version of Zorro.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say literally One Piece Zorro. Which I always loved that. It's like that's a fun little flaw for him. He's just always going to go the wrong way. Scritch a rogue class? Maybe it's.
I'd definitely say if there was any class that he had to be as a primary, it would be rogue for the. I don't know, the non-seeability.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you gotta get by, you gotta be sneaky, and you gotta be nimble in dodging all the danger. Bouncy too.
Most of the time he doesn't even try. It's just like, I don't know. It's kind of like Tolkien's Hobbit powers. It's just like, a Hobbit can choose to be not seen if he wants to not be seen.
Yeah. I kind of also now imagine instead of uncanny dodge, it's uncanny squish. So it's just like he kind of rubberizes himself. So if he gets hit, it's just like, doing.
Oh yeah, like
bounce back.
The kobold he does have a very specific kind of genetic, like, draconic ability, and that is puntable. As in, like, you can cut them, hack them in two, and all that sort of stuff, but if it's anything like crush damage, or anything blunt force, they're like, I don't know, like a squeaky toy, they just, and just off they go.
Yeah. I think that just increases the adorable level at that point when you have this kind of like Looney Tune cartoon not immunity but kind of a resilience to being killed or
Yeah,
hurt or
I
anything
mean,
like that. You're just like,
he's not what you would call a character that has a serious point, I guess. It's more like he's just a guy.
yeah.
He's just a little guy. He's just there. He doesn't want to get hurt, but sometimes things fall on him.
Sometimes things fall. Yeah.
Well, it would also make sense. Like, I like to imagine that kobolds have a great resistance to, like, blunt force trauma because they're miners in, like, D&D canonic lore. You know, they're always, like, digging for minerals, building warrens, like, giving stuff to the dragon that they worship, etc., etc. So, like, rocks fall on them. You know, they have to be resilient. Otherwise, I don't know, it takes more energy to make kobolds than just making them more resistant, I guess.
I mean, yeah, it's like you kind of imagine through just natural evolution, you're
Or
going
just-
to literally
or
have
just-
to be the ones that survive.
Or it could just be like dragon magic. Like, the dragon could just be like, why are all these kobolds just dying all the time? Dragon magic, make them unsquishable.
I did like that when they actually had that like idea that, you know, that's how kobolds came to be. It's like the dog kobold versus the reptile kobold.
I am not a fan of the dog kobold. I am 100% mini dragon the entire way.
Yeah.
Cute little guy that just loves eating random stuff, hurting himself, causing accidents. Probably joining a cat on top of a surface, knocking things off just because.
Yeah, he definitely would do that.
Though, actually, he would probably feel very bad about it and actually go and get a dustpan and brush and sweep it up. Also, I came in here looking for chocolate. Where's my...
kitchen table. Yeah. Okay. But yes, after having that fun little...
chocolate!
Yeah.
I found the chocolate! Mine, not yours!
Yeah. A kobold pair can crank out an egg in 2 weeks. Yeah, yeah, they are very quick.
Not Scritch. He's a boy.
Yeah, true. Spurred flashbacks, yes.
He does none of that.
Has anyone associated with Critical reached out to you? It feels like you've become the official CRM. No one in that way has reached out to us.
But we have had nice communications with some of the cast.
Yeah, Luis has been the one that has at least been like there to say that he has liked the ones that have Zune in them. I think because those are the only ones he's commented on. But in terms of those, yes.
Oh, there have been others as well. We can't exclude that.
But I can't bring any no official production members or anything like that. Nothing in terms of the company in that way.
We can't say we are.
Yeah, no, we
that group.
Yeah, still have to.
We have not been embraced.
Yeah, still have to.
Arms of friendship.
Still have to put that disclaimer in the videos. This is unofficial Critical Role content. None of it is endorsed by them, but it's like within their feel free to.
Though, if it does help, and it will, everyone who's potentially a fan of Scritch could start a petition to see Scritch maybe join a future Critical Role campaign. That would be pretty good.
If Brennan somehow was secretly watching it and was just bringing kobolds in there, and just making a potential for us. There haven't been any kobolds yet, and I'm so sad. We haven't seen any.
Immensely.
I want to see kobolds.
I'm going to start talking to my union rep about this. Kobold unions are probably the greatest thing to participate in.
Are they?
It's just imagine just a little draconic version of, I don't know, a Warner Brothers cartoon. Just everything's just exploding, falling, and crashing. Arrows flying everywhere.
I was going to say, are they the D&D equivalent of the Acme Corporation?
Yeah, just stubbing toes. Just all of it happens. All of it. I've just put down my chocolate and I can't find where it is.
How?
Oh, that's right. It came over here and
Oh,
said,
there.
and I said, "Kobold petition for Critical Role," and I put down my chocolate, and I strutted around the room thinking it will happen in Daydream.
Just completely forgot about the chocolate.
Caramel chocolate. I'm gonna go eat this now because I'm hungry.
All right.
I might pop back and say hello and or goodbye, depending.
Yeah. Oh, let me know if you need me to timestamp anything.
I beg your pardon?
For any kind of like thing that you need me to timestamp, because I know that you will have me check the times for you sometimes when you need me to, like, figure out whether or not it's
Oh yeah. Thank you. I mean, my tablet's kind of not really working right about now, so it's like, whatever. I mean, I'm a kobold. I'm not a gremlin. I'm not responsible for that.
Because they unionize, they can work harder. Yeah.
Actually, gremlins are the mortal enemies of kobold. That and gnomes.
The Scritch on CR would be fire.
It would, wouldn't it?
What do you think Wick's grandmother looks like? Curious about expressions and when she's doting on Wick. And it's hard to know. I mean, I feel like Wick's grandmother has got... I feel like she's got two looks to her. She's got the look of, like, oh, this is the public face, and this is the, like, the Cockney, like, oh. She gets vicious. But I think we're actually getting a pretty good sense of Wick right now. Probably want to go ahead and do some little tweaks here. So let me just go ahead and... I think his face is a little too long, so let me just, like, narrow that down a bit. Okay. Let's see. Now the question is, should we just do 3 of these? Or would it be better without them at all? I think having the little, just two, like those ones right there, like technically 4 in total, one in the front, one in the back, one on the sides, each side.
I just stubbed my toe and I didn't scream. I'm proud of myself.
Embody the Scritch. Just bounce back.
No. You don't understand. I almost did, because I was doing Scritch voice in here. I was kind of being lost in my own thoughts, and I stubbed my toe on the chair out there, and I almost went, fuck!
Well, you just did it now.
I know, but still, it was just kind of, But it really hurts.
Yeah, sorry. Alright.
Last thing I'm going to say, before I go and eat my chocolate, which again I've just left on the table. Why do I keep putting it down?
In the worst places. It's
chocolate. Once it's in the hand, it should be in the belly. What am I doing? Who am I?
Just Stewie. It's just like...
Are we just here to suffer?
What was the one more thing?
What?
You said one more thing.
Oh, fuck. I can't remember what the fuck I was going to ask. Now I can't stop thinking about chocolate, but now I can't remember what I was going to say.
Kobolds have 1 more HP than a commoner, sign of evolution.
I mean,
maybe.
Progress is progress. It just means that we are better than commoners. Still can't remember what I was going to fucking say or ask. Something along those lines. That'll come back to me. I'll probably run back in and scream it.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll let you get back to work.
Alright. Let's see. Seeing the animation of Vox Machina on Amazon Prime, seeing the Dragonborns were cool. Oh yeah, that was really nice to see those. They were great. Sam's ability to make overprivileged religious nuts doofuses into a character I genuinely love still surprised me. Yeah, I was very surprised at how well he played Wick. And might do Tyranny next. Might do Tyranny. I've been, so far, been going along the lines of rolling with the Dice Nest die, and I've been seeing which ones the dice determined to draw, and so far, these are the ones. So we'll see what happens next. She's on a 12. So if we roll a 12 on that, we get Tyranny. Alright, let's add our very thin animation lines. And of course, as we said last time, there is a greater boldness when it comes to eye lines to make you look at the eyes. So we'll make sure to give those lines a nice thick in comparison to the other ones. Okay, and then we'll add our curve it around and give us our jaw. There's the wiki. I think I'll leave the filament not lined, just probably leave it as colors maybe, because they kind of glow a little bit. So I think that just having them be solid like white colors might be better to keep for the image. So we'll probably do that. Separation anxiety can't. I mean, Tyranny more than anything for sure. She is very much just like, don't you take my wick. Alright, let's get that little circlet in there. Okay, let's add that bit on top. Who's seen the horrors, indeed. He has seen the horrors. Do you know how many characters you'd like to do? I mean, as many as I can get in. Looks like we're about doing about one an hour, so I mean, maybe can do at least one more for sure, possibly two. Let's see. Let's see. Just read the chat real quick. Sorry, I'm thinking about Atla now, because I thought I'd Zuko Scar, but now I'm thinking of Aang's tattoos and how they glow in the Avatar state. And right. Yes. Hello there. And happy to get this thing to finally work. It's live. Yes, it is a live stream. Yeah, Master Lethalia and Lieutenant Nyar. Oh, I'm so cool with that. Hello, Onyx. So far, I'll go ahead and just quickly get this hair done, and then I'll show you. We have been working on the character designs for the Campaign 4 characters as into their animation design. So what could they look like if they were in animated form? So far, we've done Azune, Belair, and we're now working on Wick. So says the dice when we did the dice roll tests. Oh, thanks for coming by, Mask. It was great to have you here. Enjoy your weekend. So giving that little extra hair flick, which I think is also kind of indicative of youth. We see this kind of like extra hair on the back of younger characters. It will work great for him. And we have his high collar. And his little arrow, which is nice because it actually will just probably make it a straight line because it goes right to the collar. Almost got his lines in, and then we'll try to play around with what his color scheme could be. Okay. I think we'll leave it like that, and we won't add the bottom border, because I think it kind of looks nice like that, where it just kind of radiates down and leaves a little line there, as opposed to being like bordered off and thickened again. Kind of carries it a bit more nicely. Oh, there's that. I'll get that line. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right. And again, just to make sure we do not lose them, let's quickly use some black just to distinguish out the markings. And then we'll turn them into white. Let's see, does he have any? He does have one that comes up here at least. I think he's got one that comes up over there. We'll just probably put it right there instead. And then alright, there we go. Make sure we don't forget his filaments. Alright, great. Okay, I'll turn those into white lines. There we have the start of Wick. I think maybe let's give him a little bit more volume in his hair. I think it'd be great if he had like a bit more of a... Let's see what it would look like if we gave him a teeny bit more. What would that look like? Yeah, I think it looks nice if he maybe had a teeny bit more of that volume there. So let's go ahead and like push it out a little. Alrighty there. And I think for the most part, it doesn't have much... I don't see any real jaw distinctions for him, so I think we'll keep his face clean on the side. No lines needed there, basically. How are we feeling about Wick after the Draconis Manor scene? Interesting, like, I still feel poor Wick had to go through a bunch at that point, because it's like, it was the whole, like, you're facing character death and stuff, but I think the way that Brennan did it is that even though he, quote, avoided his character being killed, he still, a part of him died that night as well. Like, his innocence, his, like, ability to kind of play this game, I think, where he thought that he could get away with essentially fooling both sides, but never actually having to commit so badly as to kill someone, essentially. But then his hand was forced to the point that he had to do that, and I think that was the part that made him go, like, that innocence of Wick that he had kept for him for so long finally was erased. And I think that's how it felt like it was played. Okay, so let's see what we can do with these colors. Oh, sorry, you gotta ask. The pinnacle of action was indeed seen with the dragon and re-establishing basically the orc afterlife. But what about the scene with Taylor? It was a pivotal moment too. It was a big scene too. I mean, I also felt extremely sad when that happened because, I mean, Taylor, Travis in general plays an amazing character, and to see that happen was just like heart-wrenching because it wasn't just him. It was like the NPC, his brother too, and the fact that it was just like and that wasn't the only one. It was Hannon, Sid, and Taylor, all who fell that night, and that kind of emotional loss was very big. It's also kind of interesting though because at the later on when he had that moment where Taylor and Sid's shadow go hand in hand away from the mid-wall, it's kind of one of those things that it's like, if maybe perhaps, like you just see it from that perspective, it's like in the end, as the Takonas see it, the material plane is temporary, and all things eventually become eternal in the afterlife and whatnot, and so that's the thing that they're most concerned with. So in a sense, when it comes to that, at least they were able to escape that particular fate because of what would have happened if they were kept and the Takonas did have them and they could do things because they weren't, their bodies would have had the mark put on them. So it's like, oh, that would have been bad. But thankfully, Thimble was able to save them, and that was just like, whew, close call. And we're so glad that she was able to get them out of Dodge. Okay. Alright, now Wick's hair is very bright in comparison, because he's got that ASMR. So we're going to probably see how well we can push that kind of color scheme without it going too crazy. So let us see what we can do initially, and how bright, desaturated, dark we want to go. Alright, let's see. If we lighten it up a bit. You can probably see where that goes. I think his eyebrows are... Oh, his eyebrows are much darker. Yeah, his eyebrows are very much like a classic dark eyebrow. Actually, I mean, it's not too far off from the Zune's ones. Probably a little less saturated on the brown, so we'll go ahead and change that up a tidge. Maybe a little darker. Let's go there. Okay. Oh, sorry, just catching up with the chat. I'm so excited to see new character. Me too. I can't get back soon enough. I'm so sad that we don't get to see him for so long. Do I have any thoughts or wishes or theories about Taylor? Is Nick a character? No idea. Travis likes to throw a lot of curveballs at us, so it's hard to know if he's going to try and be sneaky that way. I'd like to imagine that he's going to probably try to surprise us with a new class or one that he's not done before. So I don't imagine we're going to see any repeats from any of the previous campaigns. So it could be anything from like fighter to ranger to monk and rogue maybe. I think for him he still has probably like a preference to being bulky and healthy. So it could be fighter, could be monk. I think he'll definitely try to avoid stepping on anyone else's toes too. So even if he picks a class that's like similar, he won't go full into it. He might do cleric, but that is kind of like just the paladin being more castery. And I don't know if it's one of the two things. Either he thinks, now I've already played the paladin, which has already been a thing, I'm going to go with something different, or it's the whole everyone needs this in the party because it needs a balance for it, so he might try to stay more in that department. He might try Way of Mercy Monk, because that one does have healing possibilities. Same with Ranger, but I mean, Robbie's the Ranger, so there's no Monk. So he could try that one, which would still give him the ability to be flexible and the healing and support, but also still being up front, right there in the thick of it and all those things. So could be that. We'll see. The crown with those voluptuous hair volumes underneath look odd to me. Okay. I'll probably then tweak them around a little bit and see if we can add more or take away some. Because I didn't want to get too many in there. Julian's rages at the beginning. So weird. I was in the find the yeah, the axe. Oh boy. Hand and clutch. Oh, I know. Hand and clutch distraction. Oh man, big MVP NPC there. So big. Maybe he could have a hint of Blue Jay colors somewhere. I've seen a couple artists depict Wick with Blue Jay wings. Oh yeah, that's oh darn. His name. Yeah, Chris. I think I remember Nat One Vibe. He's the one I think who started that, and he does very beautiful Wick and Teor and Tyranny and all the characters that he's drawn. I think he also did them in their in their horse versions or like equine versions. So it's like hippogriffs and unicorns and normal horses and like nightmares, I think too, and whatnot. So he's got a ton of crazy ones. They're really well designed too. So cool. Let's see. Okay, Wick's eyes are looking at the Wick sheet. His eyes are they're not as bright as his hair. They're a little darker. Kind of like a mix between the hair and his jewel. And the black is on his right, so black bead is over there. Let me just make this a little easier for me. Black bead there, and white bead on the other side. We'll just do a simple little line to connect them just so it's there. Okay, and then let's just quickly get the filaments. I think we're going to have to do some color tweaking here for sure to make sure we get this one to look right. go. So let's go quickly read. Ooh, gotta scroll down apparently. I am not up to see. Okay. Do we know if Wick's name is an acronym? That would be crazy if it's an acronym. I don't think so. I think he's just using wick because candles and like the light and everything, the whole affiliation he has with his religion and stuff like that. I think that's his symbolism with it. He likes that probably parallel of, you know, candlelight, candle feast, lighting candles for his for the religion and stuff like that. I think that's what he was going for with the name. Alright, let's play around with some of these colors. Let's see. Let's go ahead and start playing around with the skin tone a little bit. Just saturated it. What if we made the silver a little brighter, a little darker? I kind of like the brightening a bit because I think it starts to bring them all together a teeny bit more. But let's also make sure to give them that wash in order to make sure they have a uniformed look. So let's go ahead and then brighten that up a little. Reduce its impact, maybe 6%. Maybe a little more. Let's see. Alright. Taylor said it taught me NPCs and stories shouldn't be made with an NPC mindset because of C4 wasn't D&D at all but a book. Taylor would probably be an NPC because early death with great personality. Yeah, I can see that, yeah. Now that you can give Thimble a big hug, she needs it. Oh my gosh, yes, Thimble's been going. She's losing so many people. Oh yeah, everyone is the hero of their own story, which is what makes stories cut short so tragic. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's very true. Palom. Palom. Let's see if we can just quickly pull that one out real quick. All right. Okay, that's starting to come together a bit more. Let's see, what if his hair was a little darker? Just curious if we try to give his hair a teeny bit more harmony with the rest of the other images. Or something like that, maybe. Imagine, yeah. Everyone coping with my withdrawal with the Age of Umbra. Daggerheart is great. It's a really fun system. I mean, I would love to play that more, but it is really clever. I think they did a very good job balancing that one. It is nice to see Matt as the DM again. I mean, I'm glad that he's able to do player and DM. He kind of can give a little bit of the best of both, which is great. He's done such a fantastic job all together. Let me just quickly add some shading here. I think we can get a bit of the definitions a little more pronounced if we can actually see where some of the shadows would be. Oh, give me a quick second. Titan needs a little help. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Titan needed help sometimes in order to help him stand up and move about. So, gotta give him a little helping hand here and there. I'm wondering if that maybe this is a little empty here for him. So, wondered if we add just 2 vertical... Oh, that's too big. That's right. So what if we add 2 vertical lines to help divide the sections? But instead of having that one stick out, we have that one be the inner one. I think that could work. Because I thought his pauldron such mantle seemed a little too barren. I think that makes it look a little better when you have like a little bit of extra there. I'm kind of also wondering if maybe we darken the region between them, make them stand out a little bit, maybe. So if we make this like a little darker, kind of help them stand out a bit. Make this even lighter than at that point. Make that like a... And then we can darken that one a bit more. And then we can add that extra highlight up to the gem too. could make it a little bit less white, a little more gray. Okay. All right. How are we thinking? I know we were talking initially about the crown diadem thing maybe being a little different. What do you guys think for the top? Do you think it should be... Because I just did the major 3 ones, because there's like 3 big ones and then like 4 little ones in his own thing. He also actually... It actually has more of a striking angle, though. What would you think? Actually, no, this is the best thing with digital art. You can actually start playing around with some things. So what if we change the design a little bit, and instead of making this one curved, what if we angled it a little more instead? Like, what if we did... like an eyeball, in a sense. I'll have to tweak these around a bit. Thinking actually, what if we made them a little bit more... that shaped. Okay, let's just add the colors correctly so we can then get a good idea. Okay, which one do you like better? The one that's a little more angled, like a triangling, kind of like a diamond, or more of a sunset going on there? I know it's a very tiny, tiny, tiny still difference, but, you know, it can be... I'm blocking it, so let's... I'll just do this because this is something we can actually make a good way to vote. Let's actually get some voting in here. Let's do 1 and 2. I'm going to make a poll, and you guys tell me which do you think is more appropriate. So, start the poll. Alright. Made a poll. So go ahead and tell me which one you think is a better design choice, if we go with option 1 or option 2. And while you do that, I'm just going to read the chat real quick. Highlights in the hair. Yeah, I'm curious because he has very distinctive white to his dark color. I might add some change to it, maybe give like a specific streaking for it. After looking at it, I definitely was wanting to make sure to get that diadem / circlet sorted out essentially, and see if there was any preference from people when it comes to it. The neck thing, yeah, the neck thing. But yeah, I mean, once we know which one to go with, I'll go ahead and probably add some more detailing color to the hair, just to give it more of a fit for him, because I think he definitely needs some, like, if not a highlight, at least some streak, or maybe streaks, in order to give that level of interesting quality, like kind of almost like a natural shimmer to him. The poll is for which version looks better to you. Particularly, it's around the crown. It's the more circular, kind of smooth one, which looks like a sun, or the little more pointed one on the number 2, to see which of the designs is a bit more fitting for this. It's interesting, because if you look at animation, a lot of the times you will only see like reflections, either as a when there's a close-up and you really want to give an accent to like a shine or a cut from a highlight or some kind of really cool glow, but when moving about, essentially, just like going day-to-day and all other things, you really don't see a lot of highlights in the hair, like any kind of like streaking highlights, really. You might get ambient glows that are applied as after effects a lot of the times, and they will be essentially kind of soft haloing certain regions. So you'll see this kind of like top of the head gets a teeny bit more of the treatment compared to the rest of the body, so it almost looks like it gives it a shine, but it's not like it's like a hard shine. I actually have a picture here from the, so you can see it with Alucard real quick. See this ambient effect? What they did is they took that like gradation of light, and you can see it hits hard up here, but it doesn't exist over here. So it's like they made sure that the right side is where the light source is coming from, so they made sure to push it with a teeny bit of gradation to give it that color. You can also like see it in this one too that they did. You can barely start to see it, but like right up here, there's a little light tint compared to this one over here. If I took like an eyedropper, you would see it shift. Like the two would be like that's the top one, and this is the bottom one. So you can see how that's the difference when it comes to them applying the, oh, you can't see it so well because it's blocked by me, but you can see that's the difference right there, where they just do essentially enough of a wash that goes over it to give the highlighting without actually like drawing rigid lines. But same with metal, and same with hair and things. They'll do that kind of like hard washing on an after effect. But let's go ahead and see where the poll has ended up. Well, jeez. 54-46. All right. Option 1, though, is still the preferred one, so option 1 it is. But let's see, if technically we applied that effect, the kind of highlighted wash to something, you could get essentially stuff like this that would apply to his hair. So you can see that there's a kind of a kind of soft like glow that comes up. But then I'm wondering if there's any way we can work, because I'm looking at his reference as well. He's got like, it's almost like he has like distinctions in his hair. But I don't know if that's too much to do. Kind of too much, you think? Yeah. Just stick with the gradient. It depends. So the highlight specifically would be a little tricky because you'd have to essentially define a shape, and whatever that shape was would be the one that you kind of would repeat it for the entire thing. To give you an example of, like, it's not necessarily a highlight, but a kind of hair color change, if you look at the Mighty Nine for Ford's character, he has a white, like a bang, I think, that comes on the top of his head, which is, that's it. That's all it is for his white kind of accent that came to his hair. So they kept it in a very enclosed shape the whole time. So if you did that, you would kind of fall into a similar thing where you'd want it to be one or two, like, solid shapes that you don't have to really, like, trouble over too much and all that. So that's but yeah, it usually is. Morning, Todd. Welcome. It's interesting. His earrings are definitely there is a shine to them, I suppose, because they're very pearl-y. but you wouldn't see them too much. You'd see it on the black, but you won't see it so much on the other one. Yeah. I think maybe what would happen, let's see if we gave a teeny bit more flushness to his face. It's a little bit more. I think that's pretty good. Alright. Okay. Final verdict. What do you guys think so for right there for Wick? What do you think? Oh wow, nearly midnight for you. Jeez. Thanks for sticking around for as long as you did. Yeah, I definitely was like thinking of adding a little more warmth. I tried to just add a touch more right there, just a titchy bit more, but I can always up it a little bit, like to maybe there, so you can see the difference between the two. Do you guys think is that a good like warmth tone right there? That kind of little extra vibrancy going there. About the Treasure Planet movie and how Jim's face never had an anchored nose or something along those lines. Oh, yeah. Jim just has like little lines, I think, right at the bottom. He just has like implied nostrils, I believe. I'm just curious to look at him real quick. Yeah, he does. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, he just literally has no bridge. It's just these little implied floaty lines. Yeah. It's interesting how like in animation there are a ton of ways that they will try to get what's needed to get the look that you're going for, but it's like, do you really need all this detail, or could you get the exact same feel and impact with less? Less is more. That is the whole key, I think, when it comes to animation designs. It's less is more. Whenever you can. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that warmth works. Okay. Thank you, Knight. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Cool. Good to know. Good. We're looking good. Alright, well, I think we can at least try to start up one more. Might not be able to finish it, but we can at least start it. Give it a bit more of a, feel, and then we can continue on. I can stream it again. I'm more than happy to share this process and to get your guys' opinion, because, I mean, let's be honest. I think the Critical Role community has come up with brilliant insight and ideas, and I think a lot of the times when it comes to inspirations and levels of like creativity, there is such a depth with this community, and it's so worthwhile like listening to. And I think that your support and your encouragement has also been extremely valuable. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to help me with this and to spend time just enjoying and chatting and watching. It's a lot of fun. Let's see, so if we're going to do another one, we gotta roll some die. I gotta roll at D12. See who we get this time. Let's see what Dice Nest can give us for our D12. We've already gotten 10 and 9. So let us see what this little gem can give us this time around. For those of you who are new or weren't here last time, we've based it around, there's an order for their names. So Abria, alphabetically, when I have it on a reference sheet, so Abria's 1, Alex is 2, Ashley's 3, Laura's 4, Liam's 5, because that's ABCD. So we've already done these guys. So I'll re-roll a 10 and a 9. And also, if we... No, yeah, 10 and 9, that's it. Yeah, because Luis was already done, so he's not, because there's 13. All right. Okay. so for the roll, I'll bring you down. Let me get you over here. Alright. Okay, so let's see what we get. Ooh, that's a 5. We got ourselves a 5. So let's see, 5. If I am going to quickly look back at that. Alright, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is Liam. Liam. I was going to say, just so I can give you guys a look-see as to what it is, essentially, let me just quickly do this for you so you all can see this little nonsense of me. So here they are. So as you can see, Abria 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But since I'd already done Luis, he was not counted in the count for the D12. So with him not being part of it, we go that way. Liam's 5. We get ourselves our Orc Bard. Gosh, we all love Liam, don't we? How's great. Okay, so first off, we will need to pick the face, the angle that we're going for from the pre-ones, just to kind of like make it easier, make it faster, get them out as quick as we can. There we go. Alright, so we have so far used this one for Belair, we've used this one for Wick, I've used this one for Zune. So I'll go ahead and quickly plop out some numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Alright. Just from these right here, which do you think is a best fit for Hal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just quickly throw out the numbers on there, and whatever happens to be the biggest one will be the one I'll just go with. But what do you think we can play with the most? Again, the expressions will be changed. We'll add more depth to like the jaws, the chin, and all the other parts so that it'll look more like him. But this at least gives us a good general, like, you know, form to start with. Wick is a master of disaster. That's brilliant. I like that. He is definitely a master of disaster. Nick Falcon. I see 2 for... Whoa, wow, okay. 4 for 6, 2 for 1. 6 is really popular. Okay, 6 is very popular. 6 and 5. 1, 5, 6. Okay, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for 6, 3 for 5. 4 for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 6s and 4 5s. So 5 and 6, they are currently the number ones. So let's see if anyone breaks past the tie of 5 and 6. Just needs 1. Or 2 2s. Nope. That's now kind of 4 2s there. 1 or 6. Another. Well, 5 and 6 now just both like 5. Okay. Alright. I see that the last with a 5. That means 5 is now 6 votes. And there's a 2 or 5. Okay. We'll stick to 5. We'll go with 5. Alright. So. There you are. Okay. Alright, now let me just pull up that Hal reference. There you are, Hal. Ah, okay, so you see, Hal, for instance, well, the poll wouldn't have enough for, like, there's too many. Poll, I think, only goes up to 4, so wouldn't be able to get them all in there, so that's why I just do a quick one for that one. Oh, okay, thanks for dropping by, Erica. Sleep well. He's getting a smooch. He's just, that's kind of fun, just like, from him. But yes, so, the Hal. Hal is definitely a character that has some gray streaks in the hair to kind of show his age, but when it comes to, similar to Ford, we'll probably have, like, a couple, one or two distinctive, like, placements so that they can be easily, like, repeated when it comes to animation, so that will be taken into account for his design. Let's see. First things first, Hal's pretty broad in the jaw and the face. He's got a lot of, like, squareness when it comes to his proportions. So I think we're definitely going to have to give him that extra bit of volume. Oh, good night. See ya. See you later, Moonlight. Thanks for stopping by. You kid. Alright. So let's see. If we're going to definitely do that, we're going to make sure we're going to have a very strong jaw coming into play. And he has... his nose is pretty straight, but it's also fairly strong. And I'd say his eyebrows are pretty big. Like, he's got some of those, like, expression eyebrows going on. His eyes are definitely that classic look, I think, with them. We've got a very, like, similar design to what they've done for their characters so far. Let's see. He has a pretty good pronounced cheekbone and jaw. And a pretty prominent brow, too, I think. Let's see, he does have his mustache and his goatee, so... so if we square off the lower lip, we can then get his goatee to come in, which does kind of go around. He does have distinctive cheekbones, so we'll probably want to make sure to keep them in there. He does have a kind of 5 o'clock shadowing with his beard, so I think we still technically have that somewhat in there. Which then I guess probably ties in with his mustache. You can probably cut the goatee in a little bit. Doesn't have to be too far back like that. Probably just let it line up with the jaw so the chin can actually be a little bit accented there. He does seem to have, I think, a bit more of like those furrows from his age, so he probably has more lines. And it probably also has lines in the eyes, I'm betting, too. He probably has near his corners to give him that kind of aged look a little. Hal has seen some stuff. He's been through some shit. I think if we raise his brow a little bit, or his eyebrow a little bit up there, I think we can have a bit more fun with the expressions. We just give him a tiny bit more volume. He does have some distinct separation there, too, near his nose and eye. Definitely got a nice thick neck for him, so he's going to have a fairly big silhouette when it comes to his now his ears have a bit more of a point to them, so we're gonna definitely have, when it comes to the top part, this comes in here. Give him a little angling. Okay, I think his teeth might not be that big, might be a little smaller. Okay, alright, I think that's not too bad. That's a good start. I wonder if we should give him a bit of that extra wrinkling on the brow a little bit to kind of imply like he's got a lot of forehead wrinkles from a lot of the worrying or the expressions that he's had to have done, giving these like grand displays for his theater and for his acting. I feel like he would definitely have a bit more of those. He does seem to have a bit on his nose as well, in that region too. So let's see, if he had those there, would we then take that away? Or does he need the nose ones? He might not need the nose ones as much. Just checking out his nose real quick. Would be a good one. probably decrease the eye a little bit, not too crazy. Okay, maybe a teeny bit less than the average, just a teeny bit less here. Yeah, he's been there since the start. I'll never play a bard, and then started playing a bard. Yeah. Would it be possible to create a new, updated look for Vecna or perhaps some other Lich King at some point? Forgive me if this is not what you are going for with livestream and pop. No, it's totally fine. And actually, if you've seen the latest Vox Machina season, they showed their design for him. He's pretty darn badass cool. If you actually like go online and Google it, if you go with the Vox Machina Vecna, it'll probably pull it up for you. It's the whispered one, but same kind of thing. But he looks pretty cool, like with his like mouth and his eye. He's got a huge crown too, like a massive like pointed thing. Very like if I could give it like a similarity, it reminds me a lot of the World of Warcraft Lich that they made for Kel'Thuzad. It's very reminiscent of his design. Really cool, but yeah. Hal's face would be so robotic and intense. Yeah. I remember he said that he has smile lines at the eyes from how well he's lived. Ooh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Very good detail point. Yeah. So I think that looks, yeah, a little better. Instead of having them under the eye, he actually just has... Okay. And now let's get that hair to tackle real quick. So he definitely has a very kind of like whoosh going on with one side. So like he has a part, but then he has this curl that flicks around like so. And it looks like it swirls, like he has this swirl going on. And it kind of messes out a little bit. Let's see, probably lower this down a little. I think it's not too predominant, it's just a little predominant for him. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, it stops below the brow, so we want to keep it up there. So if we... Looks like he does have like a we do that little V right in there, it can probably help us to accent the divide. Maybe his face a teeny bit broader. And he has his fantastic collar, of course. See about increasing the back volume a little bit, giving him a teeny bit more squarage. I think his jaw needs to be bigger. From what it looks like, the proportions in the reference, he has a much more orcish jaw in a sense. So maybe if we just the nose, and what happens if we expand the jaw a little bit? What will that look like? Just pull this down a little bit more. Okay, I think this could work for Hal. right, let's see about cleaning this one up. I think this could work. Oh yeah, Brendan's made some great culture with the Orcs of Ahriman. Oh yeah, they kind of are looking over the same side, yeah. I know we had to initially get like Wix one so we could at least see the tattoo. Bring the nose a bit down, you think? You guys think it looks better there versus there? All right. Little. All right. So instead of going that far down, we'll just maybe go a bit far down. All right. Well, let's see how it looks when we give it a cleanup. Because a lot of the times you'll find that when you can see the lines more easily, you can see where something is missing, or at least where you think more could be added. Yeah, see, I think the face is starting to look a little better when you get the lines cleaned up and you get like more fine of the details in there. All right. I think Hal's not looking too bad. Alright. Well, I think for what the time is right now, I might have to wrap it up for today. But hopefully you guys enjoyed what you saw, and...
Yeah, we loved it! It was amazing!
Always leave it to Squidge to give you the motivation you need. Yeah, but I think that with this at least, I'll probably throw them up on posts and socials so you guys can look at them freely, but I'll be happy to do it again sometime if you guys liked it. And
No, still do some more, Joe!
sadly, gotta do more
Spend
work.
more time! Die in the chair! Starve!
Starve.
Dehydrate!
I mean, it is hot. I'm gonna definitely need some water. But thank you guys so much for coming and for
Greetings for the week!
for sticking around. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I'm sure I'll see you all again before you know it. But other than that, have a great rest of your weekend and a good week, and I'm sure I'll chat with you guys again. Bye, everybody.